This is our first episode back onto just Jaysa. As I told you guys, it is the mental health check-in for releasing blame. Okay, so this topic was going to really dive in, is going to really dive into um, kind of unpacking your vault, right? So I can say that for me, I have a vault with all of my issues, bigger than me, small, that kind of get under my skin, but nevertheless, it's a vault. And over the years, I just keep packing stuff in, right? So we see that kind of analogy, a visual analogy of people putting like Orbeez in a cup. And you pour the water in, you pour the water in, and eventually everything starts to spill over. That's essentially what our vault is, right? And when I think about my vault, it has a lot of blame. It allows us to hold on to these mental understandings that we are not the ones that have to take accountability for the things that we are holding on to. And when I understood that, I'm not saying go in and just let everything loose, but it is something that we have to understand takes time, and it may be better to start with the bigger things that requires closure, that requires people to self-reflect and become more aware of our habits and triggers. So for me, I can say, just as an example, I have a bad, well, I used to, I've gotten much better. I used to just react when I was upset or when I didn't feel heard, and taking away the blame of my childhood, taking away the blame of people I have been with, not being heard and not being appreciated when I spoke. I was able to reflect and understand that I did not need to lash out to be heard. I just had to surround myself with people that were willing to hear me. And that simple understanding, that simple change has made a huge difference and impact on how I process conversations now. Me and my husband have like the most progression I can say when it comes to our communication skills, because I at least have taken on that skill of trying to make sure that I walk into our conversations, easy, bad, hard, what have you, knowing my triggers, knowing my limits, knowing what is going to calm me back down when I see myself getting amped up. And that also goes into our femininity conversation, right? I told you guys a long time ago that doing the femininity challenge with Women to Woman helped me understand the dominant nature that I have. And my husband is very dominant. He is not the type to back down out of that. So, me going into that and understanding that my role as the feminine energy within our conversations gets me so much further than me trying to play dominant has really, again, helped me to release a lot of my power um, that I put together, right? So my self absorbed power and allowed for my natural power to come out. Okay. That may not have been the right word to describe it, but that's what I got. So when I think about releasing blame, right, it comes back to taking a piece by piece. So finding out what is in your vault. How does that work for you? Where do you see yourself moving one thing to another? Okay, so we want to ultimately empty our vault enough to where we can continue to go through certain things and learn from it. I had an amazing guest on Contrary to the Culture, and we talked about being resilient. And in that conversation, it was interesting to me because her understanding, which crazy, my husband has the same understanding of being resilient, is a reaction. And when you're reactive to being resilient or resilient moments, you tend to find yourself enduring things that you probably shouldn't have. And we connected that back to femininity. As a woman, it's okay to go through things. Women do take on different things that we self inflict or we just happen to have to go through. But the thing about women as well is we like to stay in them. We like to have the world on our shoulders. We like to feel in control of everything because it, for some reason, I can at least say, it adds value. It makes us feel like we are worthy of being a woman. Women are supposed to endure. That is at least the mindset I have. So when I go through this and I think about our values, right? So Audacity of Women's values is raw, reflective, resilient, and revolutionary. When I think about resilience, I don't want to push the idea of being able to endure any and everything, but I do connect it back to you are going to experience things. And within the nation now, I can say we have built this narrative or this society or culture of being okay with just giving up, complaining, and moving on with this weight instead of getting back up. And I'm not saying, again, that you have to take on everything, because some things, again, are self inflicted. Some things are not meant to even happen. But at the end of the day, we cannot allow our lack of resilience to keep us from getting back up after something has happened. Because again, we're in a position within the world that requires us to have experiences. The universe attracts certain things. So if we're not in the mindset to be, I don't know, president, and we are constantly attracting people that are bringing us down, bringing our value down, that are constantly making us less than, we have to adjust in ourselves, right? So I've also talked about this when, again, my friendships. I was attracting people that just kept leaving and that were not in the same position I was in. People that you date, you are going to attract what you are. So when I think about that and I think about our resilience, if we are constantly in this state of mind where we need to be resilient or we need to endure, it's going to keep coming to you. So, with that being said, if at some point we are not challenging ourselves to change our mindset in order to get through even the smallest things that just come with life, it's going to keep coming. You are going to keep having to engage in that type of lesson. You're going to have to keep going through something so you can understand your own strength. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with establishing your understanding of yourself, the faith that you can have within your own abilities. I think about that phrase as far as God is going to put you through what he knows you can handle. A lot of that is very true. Again, this is not referring to self inflicted stress, trauma issues, okay? Shit happens. Okay, that is okay. But again, it goes into what we attract, what we are able to go through, what we are willing to deal with. Tolerance has a huge part in this. If you are too tolerant of the bullshit, you are going to keep getting in bullshit. That is self inflicted. If you are constantly not allowing your dreams to flourish, all of these opportunities have been in your doorway, all of these moments for you to learn something new, to progress that goal, you are going to stay in the same position, and that is self inflicted. It can be as small as that. And I think that when I come back around and I think about all of these things that I know me personally have been stuck on thinking it's not going to happen, or why isn't this working, or why aren't people more open to my personality, I go straight to blaming. Oh, well, it's because they don't like me, or it's because I'm doing this wrong, or because I'm not, I don't know, I don't talk like this. It could be anything, anything. But instead of doing that, I need to change my mindset. And the moment I did that, the moment I opened myself up to understanding that it is me, everything has changed. Everything has been on the up and up. I have had so much clarity that things that I didn't think were possible for me, I was able to get out of the imposter syndrome. I was able to release the stuff in my vault that kept me down. I can talk about my past. I can talk about my childhood without feeling as though it is still more weight on my shoulders or something that is keeping my personality down. It's a conversation. It is something to move me through life, because I need to understand, okay, this is what I've been through. This is what I understood about that situation. how can I make it better? How can I avoid doing it with my own child, with my husband, with the new people I'm bringing into my life? In the last video, I talked about bringing on a new team. And even those small things that I've done, it came from experiences I've had with other people. So I'm in the position to constantly hold on. I'm in the position where I was constantly holding on to issues I've been through and not necessarily even placing blame in those situations, but not being ready to release the pressure or the opportunity to be a victim. And I am confident enough to say that that is another important factor. When are you going to be comfortable with saying I'm a victim or acknowledging that you've held on to this victim mentality? How are you going to get through that acknowledgement? Taking accountability, identifying the alignment that is coming into your position, because we are constantly getting windows, right? It's funny because, gosh, all these amazing people I've talked to. So I had another interview I did with somebody, and we were talking about how God, universe, how whoever is your entity, is constantly giving opportunities, constantly opening doors. But because we are constantly moving, because we are constantly on the go, we're missing it, right? For me, I always connected to raindrops, right? So I had a teacher at one point talk about how you get hit with more raindrops when you run through the rain than when you're walking, right? So if the raindrops are coming down, they're trickling down, and you're walking, at some point you're going to miss every other one. But when you're running, you're getting all of them. And I think about that as far as God's opportunities. If I'm running, if I keep trying to get to my end goal, I am missing every opportunity. If I was supposed to get every other door, I've missed them because I'm at a totally different door that wasn't meant for me. Everything is aligned in a certain way in order for us to reach our goals. So, with that being said, I think that it is a very valuable tool for us to acknowledge, self reflect, realign, and make that change. Release the blame, release the need to be a victim, release the need to not move in a way that validates someone else. It is going to be a process. It is going to be something that is going to be hurtful because it is one of those things that is hard. It is not something that you just put it in a vault for no reason. You put it in a vault because you're not ready to deal with it, and that is okay. So when I say this about releasing blame and doing your mental health check-in, you need to make sure you are picking out the things from your vault that you are ready to deal with, that you are capable of self-reflecting upon. Because if you're not, you're wasting your time. You are wasting the effort that people around you are willing to kind of walk through you with, support you on. That is important. Also, remember who you are bringing on this journey. If they're not supportive, don't bring them. If they are supportive and you let them down, don't bring on the pressure of you letting someone down, but bring on the pressure that you have a responsibility to yourself and that person, because now you've involved them in something that you thought you were ready for. Communicate openly, be vulnerable, and see the possibilities that can come from releasing that blame. That's all I got. Okay, so this episode is just one of many for May. I told you guys that May was going to be mental health. We are also going to be doing asthma awareness. So definitely make sure you check in with our amazing Audacity woman, Nicole Love at the Creole Foundation. She is the asthma awareness representative, and she has so many things to share with you guys. So definitely make sure throughout the week you are checking in with her. Also link with her on our page under the CEO Network for Sisterhood Chat. Every Thursday, we're going to be doing a mental health and asthma awareness topic just to get the conversation going. get you guys the opportunity to engage with one another and so on. We have so many events coming up, so definitely make sure you check out our website. Our first Audacity of Women event is coming up June 22nd from 1 to about 2:45 Eastern Standard Time. It is going to be Understanding Your Character. Okay, so all the details for that is on our website. So make sure you go check that out. But I have so many things coming for y'all, and I'm super, super excited to share them. I am Jaysa. This is just Jaysa. Welcome back, episode 1. Until next time.